Welcome back to District Talk. In our next segment, Danielle and I are going to fill you in on all the latest news from the entertainment world.
The Real Housewives of New York returns to TV this month. Season 9 kicks off with a new housewife, Tinsley Mortimer, joining the cast. Cast member Dorinda Medley says that although fans are in store for plenty of drama, the women are trying to move on from past issues. Tune into Bravo on Wednesday nights to see the action.
Fans of the hit TV show Friends are in for a surprise. An off-Broadway musical based on the 90s sitcom is in the works. The show is expected to debut in New York City this fall. Original songs from the show are expected to be in the musical as well as the original characters. Even Fat Monica may make an appearance. While official dates are not set yet, tickets are scheduled to go on sale this June.
Actor-singer Mel B demands a restraining order against her estranged husband, Stephen Belafonte. The two are married for 10 years and she says he was abusive. Mel B has also filed a restraining order against their family's former nanny, who she says had an affair with her husband.
Ben Affleck and Jennifer Gardner are officially filing for divorce as of Thursday. The two announced their plans to split over 2 years ago. Per California law, the divorce could be final in as little as 6 months. The pair released a joint statement saying, "We go forward with love and friendship for one another and a commitment to co-parenting our children, whose privacy we ask to be respected during this difficult time."
Kendrick Lamar's newest album dropped overnight on Thursday. The title of the album, Damn, left Lamar fans in awe. Many tweeted about the album as his most impressive one yet. Fans really took advantage of fire emojis and memes when describing Kendrick's newest album. His music is now available on iTunes and Spotify.
And that is what you need to know this week in entertainment. Her Campus American, an online magazine for college women, is honoring 5 Women of the Year who are trailblazers in their field. The Women of the Year demonstrate a drive to help other women, a great concern for social engagement within AU and local communities, and a strong commitment to academics beyond the classroom. For more, we go to District Wire News' reporter Sarah Camarada, who's in the studio with us. Sarah?
Thanks, Patrick. So today we have Lindsay Smith, Amara Rahman, and Lauren Beasley. Thanks so much for joining us, you guys. I first wanted to congratulate you for being awarded Woman of the Year and for all of your accomplishments. I just wanted to start by asking you what it means to you by being a Woman of the Year. So, Lindsay, do you want to start?
Yeah, so for me, I mean, of course, it's a huge honor. Just knowing that the work that I do hopefully does have an impact in the end is really meaningful to me.
Great. Laura?
Yeah, I was more shocked and surprised, if anything. I received the email and I was like, what? But I'm just insanely honored and so happy that my peers think my work is so well deserving of the title of Her Campus of the Year.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel the same way as these two. It really was a surprise, but it's really nice that we're on a campus that seeks to empower other women, and so that was a really nice thing.
Yeah, definitely. So Lauren, I guess I'll start with you by just talking about, I just want to learn more about what you all are passionate about and find out what inspires you all and empowers you as women. So Lauren, you are the president of She's the First American, and She's the First is an organization that raises money for girls to fund scholarships in very low-income nations. So what makes you passionate about issues surrounding women and education and poverty?
So for me personally, I was actually never brought up in a way that ever sort of held me back in my education because I was a girl. When I was the first person in my high school to want to come to the US for college, no one ever said, oh, you can't do that because you're a girl. And so the fact that people are denied that basic right simply because of their gender is incredibly shocking to me, and She's the First does a really good job of seeking to change that. And what is the most important is that girls' education is an investment, and it's something that girls, they go on to give back to their communities because they become doctors and lawyers and they reinvest. And so that's why I think that it's so important, is because it just has such a long-term impact.
Yeah. I've been reading up about what She's the First has been doing, and you guys been fundraising. You've raised so much money recently, and that's really great. And then Amara, you are the founder of the Muslim Project, which is an online platform to fight Islamophobia and the negative stigma around Islam. And now, what inspired you to create this unique website?
Well, honestly, I think I was just tired of the way Muslim women were being portrayed on the news, and men just in general, of the negative stereotypes of calling us terrorists or saying our women were oppressed. So I decided to create a platform where Muslims from all backgrounds, all ethnicities, sexualities, genders, class, races, everything could come together and tell their stories in their perspective. So now they were the ones that were going to be the storytellers. So I simply just grabbed that information, put it together, and I show people that being Muslim is just one aspect of our identity, and that we're well-encompassing people, and that you shouldn't be surprised when you see a Muslim woman doing something big, because Muslim women have been doing big things forever. So that's really what my platform is all about, is just creating this area where Muslim women can highlight themselves and everything that they're doing in the positive light.
Wow, that's, yeah, both of you are so empowering. And then Lindsay, so, and you were reaching an audience that's very overlooked, especially at AU. I know the religious studies department is very, I guess, small, and I don't know many people in that department. So I guess what brought you to that field, and why are you passionate about religious studies and also sociology, I know?
Yeah, so what originally brought me to the field of religious studies was I was just fascinated, especially by specific religious communities in the United States, especially fundamentalist Christian communities. I'd always just found them very interesting. What originally got me there, actually, I used to be in the School of Communications, and I was looking at fandom studies, which actually bridged into religious studies surprisingly quite nicely. But now my work is centered around those same communities in the US that I'd mentioned, the fundamentalist Christian communities, looking at how their particular conceptions of, I study something weird, I suppose. I'm very interested in the apocalypse, how the groups that I mentioned imagine the apocalypse, and how those groups, I suppose, see the rest of the world based on it. So for example, something I'm looking to do more so in the future is looking at how those groups conceive environmental problems in particular. So I think religious studies is really important because it affects so much of people's daily lives, but as you mentioned, it is frequently overlooked.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would love to talk to you more about like all of these things, but I want to hear more about what you guys are looking to do in the future. So Lindsay, I guess we'll go back around.
Yeah.
So you want to work on, you're looking to publish something about environmental issues, or you want to tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so my plans right now are, of course, graduate, and then looking primarily at graduate school. I found a few programs that I think will really work, and then ultimately looking to become either an academic, or actually something I've been thinking about more and more recently is working in policy more so, because I think a lot of policymakers who create laws surrounding religious groups usually have no idea what they're talking about, So the idea would be that I would serve as some type of an advisor.
Great.
So potential career paths, I don't know.
Amara, what about you? Any plans for the future?
So hopefully with the Muslim Project, I want to one day expand it and actually be able to create my own content. Right now I collect videos and pictures and put them together and make them with nice music, but one day hopefully I'll actually be able to conduct interviews with people and sit down with them. After that, maybe when I graduate, I would love to either be contributing towards academia as a Muslim scholar of some sort. So that would be interesting, because I feel like there is a lack of representation in Muslim women in academia, so I would love to contribute to that as well.
Definitely. Lauren?
Yeah, I mean, so She's the First is hopefully going to continue to thrive. I'm excited to leave it to our next generation e-board coming in the fall. We don't know who they are yet, but we'll see. I currently work with the national campaign on with some other students from schools all around the country and the world, looking at, we're on a student advisory board, so I specifically look at making the audience that we reach more diverse and attracting more people in college campuses and things like that, because She's the First isn't always something that people know exactly what we're talking about when they hear us. Right. So doing something like that, and hopefully eventually once I graduate, I'd like to work in the civil service, whether that be here or in the UK, and hopefully working on some foreign relations.
Great. Well, good luck to you all. Thank you so much for coming. We have Lindsay Smith, Amara Rahman, and Lauren Beasley. Now back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Sarah. A local brewer in Alexandria is celebrating the success of her home-brewed IPA. We have with us District Talk's Jenica Krall, who spoke with the brewer this morning about what makes a good IPA, and even better, an award-winning craft beer.
Yeah, so I went to visit Larissa Handpeter, whose IPA craft beer, Girl Grey IPA, just recently won a national competition for female brewers. The craft beer, which was only brewed once, is now selling out at bars across the DC area. Larissa Handpeter is a national craft beer champion. Her humble roots began in the backyard of her Alexandria home, where she's been homebrewing for nearly 15 years.
I won a national competition through Girls Pine Out, which is a fantastic organization, about 100 chapters throughout the U.S. It's a social organization just to promote women enjoying craft beer.
I think the organization is terrific for women to have a spotlight in the brewery industry. So often it's kind of been dominated by men, but it's really been able to put women in front as having a key role.
So what does Larissa's famous IPA taste like?
It's a classic sort of amber IPA. So it got a little bit of richness from the Victory malt. And then we use 4 different hops. So you're going to taste the hops, in particular, really going to taste the El Dorado. And then you get a little bit of the bergamot or citrus from the Earl Grey tea, and then some grassiness.
Girl Grey IPA is a limited brew and was available by mail order nationwide in Milwaukee and DC locally. Larissa is currently brewing up some more special recipes of her craft beer and hopes to educate more people on home brewing. Larissa gave me a brief lesson on the proper way to taste these IPA beers. She gave me a few samples as well as this tasting notepad, which acts as a cheat sheet on the senses to observe in the tasting process. So now we're going to do a brief demonstration here. Patrick and Danielle, are you ready for this?
I am so ready.
Okay, all right. So first we're going to look at what we see. So what is the color and what do we observe here? So,
like she said, it's very amber-esque. It's like a nice
orange, deep orange.
Yeah, so it's very clear compared to those darker ales.
Not like a Guinness.
No.
Right, exactly. So now we're gonna test the smell. So she taught me this fun trick. You hold your hand over the cup.
Okay.
And not aggressively, just twirl it around a little, hold in the aroma there.
Nice.
All right, and then hold it up to your nose and give it a smell. What do you guys smell?
Smells like alcohol. No, that's a nice Indian Pale Ale.
Yeah, so you get the Earl Grey tea. She mixed Earl Grey tea and hops together, so you get those different levels. So now give it a little sip.
Okay.
She told me a brief tip would be to breathe in, and while you sip, just get in that smell as well.
This is really like a lot smoother than I expected.
Right, a lot smoother.
Yeah.
Usually these Indian Pale Ales are a little rough to the taste buds, but this is extremely smooth.
It's hoppy, but it's also approachable, is how she explained it. Yes. And so lastly, when you swallow, you also just take in a deep breath and get those senses again. There are different levels, and it's a very complex smell.
Awesome. Nice.
So I'm looking forward to seeing what other recipes she
Thank you, Jenica. Thank you. 2 female lacrosse players are going to play the Best Friends Challenge game. Get ready for Megan O'Keefe's Mowdown after the break.